Okay, so I am late today. That is because I did not keep my eye on the time, which is totally fine. I can forgive myself for that. I hope you can forgive me. so, yeah, these weekly things, they're going to develop as we go. I'm calling them roundup. And I was thinking of having it be like a what we talked about this week, but I think I'm going to have it more be like a general thing rather than have it be like, okay, this is the emotion I'm going through, whatever. Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about forgiveness, and that can be a difficult topic. First of all, what does it mean to forgive, right? Um, let's go with the definition is that you stop being angry at someone or yourself or something, um, for a wrong that for something you feel like you've been wronged for, right? Um, there's also it's interesting. I was also thinking there's also like the debt forgiveness, which can metaphorically play into this as well. And the thing that got me thinking about it, I don't know why this popped into my head as I was like, because I again didn't prepare, but that's okay. We'll get there. We'll all get there. Um, as I was thinking, like running around, being like, oh no, I forgot. Not forgot, but I was late in another thing that I was doing, and then I lost track of the time, and I was like, oh, I thought it was 11:30, but it's 11. Um, the thing that popped into my mind for some reason was the my ex's mother and the experience I went through with um, being angry uh, and eventually forgiving. And of course, we all know that. I hope we all know that forgiving isn't really for the other person; it's for us. Because if we are continuing to keep resentment and anger alive in ourselves, the only person that is hurting from that is us, right? It's the whole what's the saying? It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. That's not what we're going for in life, right? Let's not do that. So, the thing that I was very angry about is that my ex, the reason we broke up is because he did not feel he could tell his mother about us. Because it's the silliest thing, not because I'm from a different culture, not because I'm from a different religion, but because I was 10 years older, or I am 10 years older than him. Um, and she has a problem with that. And because they are from a different culture, they're from all the way around the world, and things are just different there. No matter what my opinion might be, they're just different, and that's the way they are, and it has to be accepted. Um, we we broke up because of that, and I know. I mean, I obviously, having been with him for 3.5 years and lived with him for two, I knew about his relationship and I knew about his mother, and she can be vindictive, and they're really. I mean, it just seemed so pointless. Like, why, why give up this wonderful relationship for this person who's just she's just mean, like, but there's a lot of complications that go behind it. The point that I'm trying to make here is that I did a lot of journaling and I did a lot of thinking. And one of the things that I do when I'm journaling is I take the book. You could use any book of truth that strikes you, but the one that I like to use is Understanding the Heart of the Buddha by Thich Nhat Hanh. And what I do is when I'm journaling, I'll read through it, and when a phrase or a sentence jumps out at me, I will start writing about it. And one of the things that struck me one particular morning when I was still doing a lot of processing about the end of the relationship. And I mean, obviously, like I talked about it yesterday, I still am processing, but this wasn't the storm of it. Um, the idea was I can't remember exactly what, but it was co-growing up. Like things are, this is this way because that is that way. And what I realized is that if she were anybody other than herself, exactly as she is, then he wouldn't be who he is. And I am really grateful for him. And I would never change anything about him, ever. So, that was something I could use to lessen my anger and resentment towards her. And I don't know that that's forgiveness, but if it's like, if we're going with forgiveness being the lessening and dissipating of anger towards someone by whom you feel wronged, it does help. I'm per usual. I'm just kind of going where this this thought takes me, but I found that very useful. And of course, compassion, blah blah blah. No, not blah blah blah, but trying, when you're working on feeling compassionate towards someone who has wronged you, and for a reason that you just think is the most ridiculous thing in the world, it can be hard to have compassion. But looking at her life, she went through a lot. It doesn't excuse what it is, but it is what it is, right? So thinking about why the person, or whoever it is, yourself included, did what they did, and or is the way they are, there's something that came from it, most likely, that you can find the good in. And a reason for you to not wish things were different. I mean, you can wish things were different, but to realize that given what reality is, and this is another thing, I always had a lot of trouble with reality. I don't know anybody else here who was like, that's not fair, and then just kind of very childishly refused to go along with it, which, in the end, if you fight reality, reality is going to win. But you can find something and realize that whatever it is, the thing that hurt you is, there's something related to it that you're grateful for that wouldn't be there if it hadn't been there, right? So with my ex, I would not wish him any different, not one single thing. He's wonderful. And even in his choosing to honor his mother, it was really, there really wasn't another choice given what the reality was, which is her health and her vindictiveness and his love for his family. He did not want to lose her either, because she would die, she would get really sick, or she would just stop talking to him, because that's what she does. And that she's old, and if she stopped talking to him now, she might not start talking to him until, it might be too late. So it was the right decision, because he couldn't live with himself after the fact. If something like that happened, he wouldn't be able to live with himself, and that would change him and cause him a lot of pain. So that is why, and it would honestly eventually result in I mean, you play it out in your head, right? I mean, granted, you can't know what the future is, but it would most likely result in resentment, and that would ruin the relationship right there. So why go through it in the first place? I don't know when I went off into that, but so I would, like I said, I wouldn't change a hair on his head, and if he had not had the mother that he has, he would not be the person that he is. And that means that, yes, he would have been caused a lot less pain, which for someone that you love, you're always going to wish. Um, but our pain kind of molds us, right? Um, so, knowing that I wouldn't change a thing about him, I can't actually wish for her to be different. Because if she were different, he wouldn't be him. So, there's that. Now, if you're looking at something like, for me, especially when I was depressed, looking for a reason to be grateful for the depression. Like, what good came of that, right? And it's hard to look, and you know what? Obviously, we don't know what happened beyond the scope of our awareness. So for all I know, something good could have happened to somebody else because of it. And it probably did, quite honestly. Um, it it's what brought me to this, right? And I know from the experience that it is such a dark and awful place to live, and it's such a waste of life, and hating yourself and being angry at yourself and not seeing a way out of it is not the way to live your life. Because life, you only get one of them. And if I had to be depressed and had to have that experience, I can be really grateful for this thing that I'm doing right now as I speak, because I really think, like, I have it in my heart that this is going to help people, and when that starts happening more and more, I'm going to be really, I mean, I see it in my head. I can be really grateful for it already, and that means that I can be grateful, because if I know that I'm going to help people, like a lot of people, if I know that, and that's what I want, then I can't wish that it were different. If you know what I mean. Like, yeah, sure. I'd rather it didn't happen. I really would. I would, there's so much, I would like to be further along in life. I would like to be whatever. But this is the right destiny for me because it is what happened, right? Um, Michael Singer talks about at some point. He talks about how, like, the only reality there is the one that's happening right this minute, right? What the past isn't happening right now, and the future isn't happening either. We only have this minute. So, and everything in the past happened. Whether or not you like it, it happened, it's done, and it's perfect, because that's the way the universe, the universe created everything. You know what I mean? It's been around for 13.8 billion years, and we're not even a blink of an eye. And how can we say we want things to be one way when they're not, the different way from what they're not? It's what happened, and it is perfect because it's what happened. Not that we have to like it, but from a completely objective point of view, it's what happened. Move on. Anyway, and the only way we can, I think, to move on from something that we wish hadn't happened, and the way we can, a way I can, because I don't want to speak for you, a way I can come to terms with it and relax and release and let it go, is to see the good that came from it, and to realize that for this good to have happened, and I know I just said, the future isn't a reality, but I know that I'm going to help a lot of people with this, and I can't wish that to be different, because I know what that's like, that frigging, that feeling of absolute hopelessness and self-hatred, living in a place of self-hatred. Like, you don't escape from it. There's no fucking rest from it. And I want people to have rest from it. I want people to feel better. I mean, I want them to break away from it. And you know what? Like, I was talking at this chakra class that I was in last night. We're talking about, at some point, we're talking about being angry. I was talking about being angry at myself. And I was asked, well, how often do you find yourself being angry and judging yourself? And I said, it just came out of my mouth like all day long. And I had a bad day. Yesterday was a day that I was unhappy. I was not preferring anything in that day. Although I can look back and say, chakra class, great. Just thinking about yesterday, it's getting me all tense. So yesterday wasn't a great I love myself day. It was a I'm pretty pissed off at myself day. But it made me realize too that that's still there. Not, excuse me, not to the degree that it was by any means whatsoever. But it's like a flare up. It's like eczema. Not that I've ever had eczema. It's like rosacea. That's what's going on right now in my red face. It's like it's there. Let's go with the metaphor of rosacea. The underlying condition is there, right? But it doesn't, if you treat it and you stay away from the foods that cause it, you put stuff on your skin that calms it, that sort of thing. If you take care of it, it's not a problem. But like rosacea, when emotions start flying, no matter how, that's not true. That's where the metaphor ends. I think that when you have this sort of tendency, when I have this sort of tendency, I do not want to speak for you. I think, this is just a theory, I think that the potential to fall back into those thought patterns is always there. And it's like being an alcoholic or something. I don't know. I've never been an alcoholic. I don't know what that's like, so I can't really compare it to. But from the things I've heard, it's there, and don't go back to that place. Keep doing the things that you're doing that keep you out of that place. And eventually those things are not, eventually those things are effortless. But when you have a day like I had yesterday, where things seemed like I seemed to be fucking everything up, left and right, and doing the wrong thing, and things coming out of my mouth and all my texts, like just being like, I can't believe when you go and you think about those things, it's not that I'm trying to suppress them. It's not that I'm trying to squash the thoughts. This is something I'm working on, allowing them to be what they are and focusing on something else, rather than being like, get away from me, and focusing on something else. So, yeah, yesterday I lied. And that's very disappointing, and I can be disappointed with myself, and relax and release. Let's do this right now, guys. Oh, because this sucks. I feel it like, I feel it like right here. All of it goes to my gut. And I'm pretty angry at myself for doing it for a lot of reasons. One being that I am normally a honest person to a fault, and I kind of like that about myself. Yeah, I kind of like that about myself. And I didn't live up to that ideal I have, and that's very disappointing. So that makes me angry at myself. And the other thing is that I lied to somebody, and I mean, it was a stupid lie. It was an obvious lie because I'm not a skilled liar. It was really stupid. It was really stupid and very obvious. I was like a 3-year-old. I didn't do that. Yes, you did. And it's not like I meant to. But, and this goes back to what we were just talking in the beginning, right? Forgiveness. So let's see if we can find. Okay, I mean, I guess I can say if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be able to process it in front of you guys to give you some idea of maybe a way that you could process your own. I think I've talked about the big breakthrough I had a year and a half ago with self-forgiveness. You know, forgiveness, I have to ask. I feel that I have to ask forgiveness. I have to say I'm sorry to myself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that. I'm really sorry I did that. I feel really bad about it. I'm sorry. And the other side of it is working on not being angry anymore about it. And that's a lot of relaxing and releasing. Because also now, like, that's part of that person's perception of me, that I will lie, that I can't be trusted. It's not like I trust myself, okay? It's not like I trust myself a lot. And so that comes in and it hits stuff. It hits a lot of stuff, which I am grateful for because I'm seeing where it is, and I can relax and release that as well. And that stuff is like, yeah. Relaxing and releasing, allowing space. There's a lot of anger coming up. Anger at myself for even trying to forgive myself. And I just squashed that back down too. I felt it and I squashed it. I didn't let it come up. But I'm aware of that. And I'm not going to beat myself up for that. You see how it goes. These are how things go. So let's stop focusing on all the ways in which I've disappointed myself. Not a good idea. They're there. They are there. There's no doubt about it. But what I can focus on is forgiveness. The idea of, okay, so yeah, I don't want to be someone who lies, but I also do want to be, and I know these are preferences, I do want to be someone who forgives. And that means everybody, including myself. And honestly, was it that bad? I mean, it's not good. But I didn't kill anybody. And it wasn't even a big lie. It's a stupid lie that was. Anyway, let's stop focusing on that. Let's start focusing on the right thing, right? The right thing. The healthier thing. I'm excited to be the person that can forgive herself. I'm excited to be the person that can forgive others. And both of those things I have difficulties with. If someone asks, it gives me an apology, I have no problem forgiving them. But when people don't apologize to me for something that I feel very wronged about, I tend to hold it in my heart But I'm not going to do that anymore because there are a lot of different things that are going on right now that I can forgive and be compassionate about. So why not myself? I can and I am forgiving myself because that is better. It's who I want to be. So that was a really circuitous path. And I hope it helped somebody out there. I don't know. That was just me talking, to be quite honest with you. And I'm going to start. Sorry, my back's hurting. I'm going to start planning these things better so that I have an actual point to the Friday morning conversations. But in the meantime, I am going to say that I can be grateful for a lot of stuff. I can be grateful that I have this computer and that you can see me and that I can speak and that there are people out there supporting me. That brought up a weird feeling. Another like vision. Okay, wow, yeah, there's still some work to do. So funny, I really thought I was so much further than this, but then it it bumped up a level. And it's like with the breakup, I was doing really well and the breakup happened. It's like, okay, I gotta do some work. Buckle down, do some work. Same thing with my mother's stroke, right? Buckle down, do some work. And I think because I let it go for a little while, didn't think about it as much as I should have been, it's struck me more. But I'm buckling down, I'm doing the work, I'm doing this work, and it's going to be great. I'm going to have that feeling of release again. This doesn't mean that I've gone backwards. This doesn't mean that I'm wrong. This means that I am ready for the next level of emotional growth. And the universe has brought it into my life right now because that's what I need right now. These things are happening for me, not to me. I don't know if it's a common thing I hear a lot, but if you haven't heard it yet, and if you're depressed, this isn't you're gonna be like, eh. But things happen for you, not to you. This, whatever I am going through right now, is happening for me because it is allowing me to grow, and this growth is going to help me in the future with anything else that might pop up that's worse. And it's helping. Sorry, I just got distracted by a thing that it says on my computer telling me that my FPS is too low. So it's the emotional growth I needed, and like I say in the prayer that I've told you guys twice, I trust you to the universe. I trust you will lead me. I trust it is safe and for my good and the good of others to follow you. So I am going to follow the universe where she leads, and I'm going to trust that it's for my good and for the good of others. Even though it seems like something's happening to me, it's not. It's just the universe, and it's happening for me. So I can be really grateful for that. Having that realization and actually feeling it, instead of like 2 years ago, I might have been like, no, it's not. I mean, like I would have issues with that statement. The fact of the matter is, coming from, if anybody out there is in that dark place, I was there, and I'm telling you, it happens for you, not to you. You can use it to get out of wherever you are. You can use it to grow emotionally. You can use it to find your way out. So I'm going to be grateful for all of what I just said. I'm going to be grateful for all of you out there. Eventually. So I am gonna, as I always do at the end of these videos, I am going to remind you that you can always choose to have a grateful day.